Pete Docter, when he was a student at Cal Arts, made this film called Winter, and this was in 1988. I'd seen this film before, and the only video that I'm going to link in the description of this has Pete Docter talking before it, but I thought it was because my kids have to be put in all this like snowsuits and coats and all this stuff to go out, and they're all like puffy and stuff, and you're like surprised they can move. It reminded me of this short, basically. This was a Pete Docter short that played at Cal Arts and I guess was a bit of a hit, and actually got in the Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival. This is not a controversial short at all. I think you'd be surprised to think that Pete Docter could make something that would be in Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival, but it was, and it toured around, and apparently it played well, according to him and everything I've read. It does feel different than what I expect from Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival, but I think it plays into a pretty essential part of childhood, which was a kid playing in the snow and seeing snow and wanting to play in the snow. It's basically a little kid sees that it's snowing, gets all excited to their mom, who you never really see, is just a silhouette. You just see this kid, and then the mom gets the kid dressed, pushes him out into the snow, and he can barely move and just falls in the snow. And you see a ton of other little kids who are in all their snow stuff and barely able to move. This was actually, his teacher was Joe Raft, and Chris Buck, who would later go on to do other stuff. I think, didn't he do Frozen, I believe? Chris Buck is thanked in this, but Joe Raft made him storyboard it and really figured out, and Pete Docter admitted he tried to work on the acting in this, and I think with the acting and the emotion is what makes this work, because you see the kid's exuberant face in it, you see him be excited to go outside, you understand what he's feeling. I think to get this to work, you have to show that emotion and show the realness of that character and show through the acting. And I think something you see through all of Pete Docter's films is the kind of raw, essential kind of emotion that, like, even if you're seeing Inside Out and you don't know what it's like to like get on a bus and leave town when you're a kid or something, you can 100% see it, because he's very good as an animator at using his characters and acting. He's always been very good at it, and I think he's very good at it in this film as well. This is also interesting because it's one of the few Pete Docter, I know he did a few student shorts, and maybe I'll review them later, that is not CG. Like, everything we know about him feature-wise is CG, and it's cool to see a hand-drawn Pete Docter film and what that can be. This is just, I think, when we talk about short films and what they should be, and apparently he actually said he had when he was at Cal Arts, a guy named Barry Johnson had heard his story because Pete Docter grew up in Minnesota, and he talked about how his sister was so bundled up that she'd look like could barely move in these things, and Barry Johnson told him it would be a good short. That's what you should do with a good short, is to show an essential little emotion, essential little story that everyone knows, and that is true of Winter. I think it reminded me of just like that moment you play out in the snow, kids see the snow, they're so excited to go out there and build a snowman and stuff. And it's just the essential, like, they're so excited, they tell their parents, they get bundled up, and then they're pushed out into the snow and they could barely move. And I think everybody who grew up with snow at least knows what that is, and as Pete Docter grew up in Minnesota, he definitely did. I think this is a cool little short. It reminds you of what makes Pete Docter such a great animator, and such a great animation director when he did that, and just kind of shows you how a cute little moment can be a nice little short film.